Let's do Friday feedback for the week. Remember, you can email info@davidpakman.com if you have anything you would like to communicate to me. And we're doing something a little different today. We are going to dip into the emails just a bit, including some very, very negative emails, just as a reminder. I think it's important to stay grounded and connected to the pulse of America. And there are really angry Trump supporters that are now coming after me with a newfound motivation. They're emboldened and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so we start with David, who said, Pakman, you are brain damaged. Maybe you need to your doctor or go back to South America. Yes, certainly I am the one who seems brain damaged based on this email. Mark wrote in saying, stop. Now I'm going to censor a couple words here only because I don't want to get the content blocked. It's not because we're on radio anymore. We're not. Mark said, you're such a little soy boy, pejorative word for gay people. I can't believe any woman in her right mind would have a kid with your soft ass. You need to stop promoting socialism in our effing country. If that's what you want, go the F back to Argentina. Also, is your boyfriend jealous of the woman you had a kid with? Yes, he's very jealous, very, very jealous. I am not a socialist. I'm not promoting socialism. I'm not advocating for socialism. And there's also not a socialist government in Argentina. So this is like the epitome of the bottom-dwelling pond scum right-winger who doesn't know what's going on, doesn't understand anything, and is willing to send humiliating messages. I mean, imagine anyone in person, right? Not with the protection of the TV screen or the computer screen or your phone screen. Speaking in this way to other people, you would not get very far in this world. And you know what? I assume that this guy has not gotten very far in this world. And he sounds very angry and sad. And, I used to I've talked before about, I used to kind of react to messages like this sometimes by feeling anger or how dare they or whatever. And I sit back and I think to myself, I have friends, I have family, I have a life. It would never occur to me to treat anyone by speaking to them in this way. It would never occur to me to write to people I don't know and say things like this. This guy must have a really sad life. And then I just kind of move on because I feel bad. All right, one more from Zach. Zach says, I recently came across one of your Snapchat stories on Discover. I suggest you perhaps actually look at the content you're making before posting it. I counted quite a few BS claims in the one I was watching titled Trump admitted he won't bring prices down, which was just a story full of BS. Your videos have been reported from me as misinformation and harassment because lying to the public is also a form of harassment. If your videos keep coming up on my page, I will continue to report them. Thanks. All right. Zach, you know what? If you feel better by reporting my videos, go ahead and do it. I have to say, it's a little bit triggered beta snowflakey to say I'm harassing you because you saw one of my videos. Give me a break. Could you possibly be more pathetic? All right. User deleted on the subreddit says, with an important reminder, being rich does not equate to being smart. Donald and Elon are prime examples of this. Well, it's absolutely the case that there is a large swath of the population in this country that believes if you figured out a way to be rich, you must be smart. And it doesn't consider that when you are given a ton of money, it's really easy to just stay rich. In fact, if you're given a lot of money and you end up not rich, you're probably particularly incompetent. And not only that, we know that Trump is impressed both with money and with authoritarianism, hence why Elon Musk is hanging around with him and why he seems so impressed with Vladimir Putin and defers to Putin over Zelensky, despite Putin being a brutal authoritarian and Zelensky fighting a defensive war. So yes, it's an important reminder. Being rich does not necessarily equate to being smart. Lynn Daniels commented on YouTube, Trump said, I couldn't find anyone smarter than him. Translation, I couldn't find anyone richer than him. Of course, another take on a very similar perspective. We are told that Trump is just so impressed with Elon's intelligence, and that's why Elon has all this power. Trump is impressed with the fact that Elon has so much money, which Trump equates with being really smart or interesting or worthy of Trump's friendship, to the extent that Trump has friends. That's what it's really about. And Lynn is, of course, completely correct that Trump sees people's value in their net worth. That's the way Trump sees it. Mansnicks asked on the subreddit, do I understand this correctly? And clarifies that English is not this person's first language. In a recent David Pakman video, What Happens When Red States Run Out of Money, he says the following: blue states like California and New York are subsidizing the red states. I found this video very interesting and wanted to look up what states are parasitic the most, so to speak, which is why I Googled list of state who receive subsidizing from federal funds. The very first link lists California and New York as the top two states that received the most money from the federal government. This is the opposite of what David was saying. There are many states in the US, and David mentioned California and New York, but these states are the ones getting the most subsidizing. Did I misunderstand? You did. So here's the important thing to understand. California is a much bigger state in terms of population and economic size than, for example, Wyoming, okay? And so in sheer number of dollars, of course, California gets a lot of money. What we're concerned with is the relative amounts that the states pay in versus get back. And on a per capita basis, California is a subsidizer of other states, and other states are subsidized. California and New York have the largest populations in the country. And so in sheer raw dollars, yes, they get a lot of money, but proportionally not so. And so I think this is a completely reasonable clarification to seek, especially if English is not one's first language. Of course, no one would expect that Rhode Island gets more money in raw dollars than New York. It's a tiny state. But what we're concerned with is proportionality. Who is supporting other states versus who is being supported by other states? Daniel CC is asking about 2028 and Democratic candidates and says, are you worried about the electability of potential 2028 Democratic presidential candidates? I've seen lots of people express worry and skepticism that a woman like Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer or a gay man like Pete Buttigieg could win a presidential election because of concerns over sexism and homophobia. Another possible contender is Gavin Newsom, who could suffer electorally due to anti-California bias. Governors Josh Shapiro and J.B. Pritzker are Jewish, and their candidacies could potentially be hurt by anti-Semitism. How concerned are you about the electability of these candidates based on Americans holding bigoted views? How much could their identities hurt them? Personally, I acknowledge bigotry is a very real problem. I don't think we should be scared away from supporting female or gay or Jewish candidates. I think as long as the candidate is charismatic enough, we can overcome the votes lost due to bigotry. Funnily enough, I would be concerned if Newsom were our nominee due to national perceptions of California, because California has been successfully demonized by the right. I brought up the anti-Semitism issue when Kamala Harris was considering Josh Shapiro and ultimately went with Tim Walz. It's clear that anti-Semitism, homophobia, misogyny, it would help Jewish, gay, or female, it would hurt Jewish, gay, or female candidates. But I generally agree with Daniel that if we pick the correct, genuine candidate who has a genuine self that is charismatic and appears to connect with voters and can communicate at least a few key ideas, that the damage done by the bigotry of the country would be overshadowed by their charisma and appearing to be just genuine people. So I agree with Daniel. I don't think we should shy away from a candidate based on identity, if otherwise they're the sort of person that the Democratic Party should be supporting. And I hope that in 2028, such a person does end up being the nominee. Chris Swan commented about the booing of the American national anthem in Canada. We'll stop booing your anthem when Trump stops threatening us. Fair deal? It seems pretty fair. And of course, all the people broken up about how dare they in Canada boo our national anthem seem to say nothing about threats from Trump to take over Canada by economic force and make it our 51st state. Maybe think about that a little bit before you start the crocodile tears and the pearl clutching over the booing of the national anthem. I don't like seeing the booing either. I mean, it's clear that the booing in Canada is a sign that all is not well with the relationship between the two countries. That concerns me. It's not about the specifics of the booing, it's what it signals. We have such a great bonus show for you today. My book will be out in 2.5 weeks. Make sure to pre-order The Echo Machine on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, at your local bookstore, or if you want a signed copy, go to davidpakman.com/booksmith. We are doing what we can to make this a successful book launch. We will see. It may fail, and you may never hear me talk about writing a book again. Wouldn't that be sad?